Hey guys, SebTube here. If you didn't know, there's a brand new Roblox game called Pixel Quest. Basically, how games on Roblox work, it's kind of like Flash games where it's hosted within the platform. Also, it's kind of like Steam games, except I think all Roblox games are free, so it's easier to jump in and try them. And this one game called Pixel Quest is obviously inspired from Realm. The devs behind it were massive fans of the game, and somehow it has so many more players. Pixel Quest at the moment has 4,000 players. Today it peaked at 8,000 during an admin event, a whole 8,000. And if you look at Realm currently, it's sitting at 1,000 players on the Steam, and there is also players on the standalone client. You can't see the number, but it's usually almost at the Steam amount, so I'd guess it's probably like 800. So isn't it crazy that this game, brand new on Roblox, is outdoing Realm of the Mad God? Now, no one would deny that the content of Realm of the Mad God is much better than Pixel Quest. Realm just has so much more detail in their dungeons and so much more of them. Like, for example, look at this. One of the new dungeons that released in Pixel Quest today, I forgot the name of it, but it's this one. Doesn't it look eerie similar to Lair of Draconis? I couldn't stop thinking about it when I was trying it, and it is good fun, don't get me wrong, but when you compare it, Lair of Draconis is obviously better. It has more detailed boss fights, it has 5 bosses instead of 4, and it has way more items. I'm not sure how many the one in Pixel Quest has, probably like less than 8 unique ones, but I think there's 20 or more in Realm of the Mad God's Lair of Draconis. And this isn't even Realm of the Mad God's best dungeon, but it is one of the best dungeons, at least according to my dungeon ranking video that's coming soon. But the dungeon that I showed in Pixel Quest that looks similar to the Lord is one of Pixel Quest's best, I think. So how is it possible that a game that's obviously worse gameplay-wise than Realm of the Mad God is doing so much better? Well, there's a couple of really good reasons. Let me ask you this question. Is it better to play a game that has way better content, but you have to get around all this bullshit like disconnects, heavy cheating that the devs don't care about, heavy monetization, and bugs that screw you over either by killing you or getting to lose your items? Or is it better to play a worse game where you encounter no issues at all? Well, with how many complaints I see of people disconnecting in Realm of the Mad God, it might be the latter, to be honest. I see so many posts on Reddit, in my stream, on YouTube comments about people getting disconnected, not being able to get back in, and that's just scratching the surface because the monetization in Realm, the cheating, and all the bugs in Realm of the Mad God are absolutely insane. It really feels like Deca doesn't respect your time when they allow these insane bugs to stay in the game for months. Like, for example, this one, where when you disconnect, you lose your enchantment slots on your items. Imagine rocking a full divine set that you farmed for. It's already rare to get a white bug. To get a divine, it's like a 1 in 200 or some shit. I forgot what the exact number is, but imagine having a full set of divine items, and then boom, one disconnect makes you lose all your enchantment slots. Now, you can get this back through support, but many times I've heard when people have successfully gotten it back, it's taken them many weeks to do so, and by then, often the season has already ended. So at that point, it feels like it hasn't really came back, and at that point, all the hype is dead. Oh, also, I forgot, you better be permanently recording your game, because if you're not, and you don't have proof of losing your enchantment slots, then you have 0 chance of getting them back. With how many issues there are in Realm of the Mad God, it's an expectation that you're permanently recording, either to record you having a shitty death, the enchantment rollback, getting disconnected from a key that you purchase, and much more of the beautiful issues. Also, what about this bug, where when you go to the forge, you go to select an item that you want to use to craft another, and it just selects half of your vault? The thing that sucks is you need to scroll down to realize that this has happened. But what if you don't know to do so? I used to not check if this bug has happened, but now whenever I craft anything, I make sure to scroll down just in case, and I recommend you do too. And yeah, I mean, the disconnects are always a slap in the face. It's not even just a disconnect either. You get locked out of the game for quite a while sometimes. I do want to make an in-depth video on all of Realm's issues because they really need to be addressed. But yeah, when you play Pixel Quest, you encounter almost no issues. There is some lag time to time, I felt, but that's about it. Now, there is other aspects leading to Pixel Quest's success. One thing that Deca dropped the ball on is content creators. I feel like they don't really care about us anymore. It's kind of why I'm like basically the only one left making really unique, consistent content. Meanwhile, in Pixel Quest, that was one of their main focuses when starting the game. Almost immediately, they tried to gather up as many content creators they could, and they gave us all custom skins. See, I'm this chimp dude. We have really effective communication with the devs in case case we need anything. They really appreciate our feedback. They're even really active in my streams, which I really appreciate. You can really tell these guys are super passionate about the game. But in Realm of the Mad God, I do feel like the communication's lacking a bit, compared to before at least. I know there hasn't been a community manager for a while, we just got a brand new one, but even before when we did have one, I don't know, for the last like 2 years, I often got ghosted whenever I requested some basic stuff, like maybe an Oryx free pop for the community, for a special challenge, because otherwise they're really hard to access, or even an Oryx castle pop. Even if I had basic questions, or if there was a emergency, they were slow to answer, or just didn't answer at all. With how active the devs are as well, the hotfixes are really common, and they're dropping content really often as well. There's not much content in Pixel Quest. I think there's like 5 different biomes, and maybe 10 different dungeons. There's also probably 30 different legendary items you can collect. Those are rough guesses on the numbers, but those numbers are rapidly increasing because it feels like every week more than 1 dungeon releases and 1 biome. Compare this to Realm, where I really feel like no new dungeons have came out in a while. There was the Stromwell Rift dungeons that came out for the last month of the Mad God, and I do feel like those were really underappreciated because I think they were really good, but those aren't even permanent dungeons, so it's not really something you can access today. The last dungeon that released that you can access today would be, I guess, Ice Citadel, but that's kind of like a replacement. I guess that counts. Ice Citadel is pretty good, but it does feel like the content in Realm of the Mad God is coming out too slowly, and that of course is probably having an effect on the play count. Another aspect that the insane dev activity is leading to is that they're hosting more events. Something they've been doing quite often are these events called admin abuse, where basically you have to fight pre-planned waves, and if you beat the whole thing, you get a special reward. I think it's a skin and a title, and of course you can get legendary items throughout the fighting as well, from the bosses that originally dropped them. This is similar to the admin arenas that Deca used to do. Deca even used to stream these, but I think that was like 3 years ago. I don't feel like there has been many special events since then, and Realm of the Mad God could really use them. The existence of Pixel Quest is amazing for Realm because many people don't hear about Realm organically, but since Realm is so similar to Pixel Quest, whenever anyone drops a review on YouTube, it either mentions that Pixel Quest is heavily inspired by Realm and they should give Realm a try, or the comments is flooded, absolutely flooded, with the recommendation to play Realm if you enjoy Pixel Quest. But Pixel Quest is also great to try if you are a fan of Realm, because it does have some content in there, and at least it works. That's always good. Another thing that Pixel Quest devs did is there's a lot of marketing for the game. Apparently they got the biggest Roblox creator to make a short on Pixel Quest. I think he is. I don't know much about Roblox, but this is the only guy that I've ever seen before, so he's probably the biggest. Let me know if I'm wrong. If you're interested in trying Pixel Quest for yourself, there is an admin abuse event coming up, and they're a lot of fun, so see if you can make it through the whole thing. It's coming out in a couple of hours, 5 AM Sydney time to be exact. I'm gonna be streaming it really soon. If you want to check it out, make sure to follow my stream. Link down below in the description and the comments, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.